guess we can.
Let this be a reminder to you all that this organization will not tolerate failure.
The side of the federal building has been blown off, Jesse.
They believe they were part of a CIA project called MK Ultra.
Just like a segment of society that is not living in reality.
In a certain sense, we're kind of a little bit more Israel's vassal state.
There are police chiefs facilitating prostitution networks.
Do you understand? It's all in your head. It's your move.
What up, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Dump with myself, Austin Picard from the Underclass Podcast, and of course, my brother Jose Galasson from No Way Jose.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, what's up,
It really
brother?
does. It is. I don't know if it's just me that like cuts off that intro right at a point where we're like at the peak of sucking you in, where you're like,
I know, right?
kind of, and then I'm like, oh shit, show's turn. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I know.
I'll have to get used to that whenever I come on, and we use that one. I really dig that one. Now I almost want to get Laney to make me a new one.
Right. I got
yeah.
so excited when you sent that to me when I first watched it because I hadn't had one like tailored toward me specifically yet, and yeah, that got me super pumped up. But
I don't know if I ever talked to you. I let the audience know this recently, but I am looking to upgrade our how do I put this, video promotion side of things here in the future. Kind of like, like, I don't know how much you pay attention to Tower Gang, but over at Tower Gang we have Laney, and obviously he's the one who made your edit. And he does that regularly for Tower Gang. He also does work for Nephilim Death Squad, does like shorts and stuff like that. Because I mean, that's kind of part of the game, like with podcasting. You get to a certain point, and you kind of have to start paying someone to produce clips and stuff like this for you, or do it yourself. But I'm not very good. But I think we're getting to the point to where I'm going to start doing that. Obviously, I mean, like, I'm not going to do it for your specific underclass stuff because that'd be weird. Right. But I mean, our stuff is so tied at the hip that me promoting most of my stuff is like promoting 2/3 of your stuff as well. So definitely. Hell yeah. But I am here future. I think I'm going to be. Laney's not going to be available, but I have someone else in mind. I'll go ahead and put the name out. I need to talk to Jolly on Klebold. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm poaching him. But if there's anyone else out there interested in the job, I am looking to soon probably start paying someone to produce clips regularly. I figure probably maybe like one longer. Maybe like one 3 to 5 minute intro of like a week long of the Morning Dead every day, or of the Morning Dump every time. And I figured we could play that on Already Dead as like a weekly recap, as like, because then you can just pull clips throughout the Morning Dump, and that way we have a recap on Already Dead, and that can be what we start off with. So that's a thing that's happening soon. So we will be upgrading. I just thought you might look forward to that because you might be getting more. We'll be getting more edits. I mean, maybe some shorts as well. But I don't know. I have some ideas. I gotta hit up Jolly on Klebold. I messaged him a while back, but I think that might be something in the future. So I mean, if not him, somebody else. He seems to be right up my alley of like what I would like, the vibe I'm going for. So
definitely, I love his stuff, man. Every time he does anything, I'm always enjoying it. But
probably after we go on Tinfoil Hat, that'll probably be when we do it. There's gonna be a lot that's gonna be after Tinfoil Hat. We'll be stepping up things because be more eyes on us. And I'll be able to justify it a little bit at that point because that costs money, guys. So
absolutely,
I need eyes on it to get to be able to justify spending the money. So you guys want nice bells and whistles, you got to pay for it. So give me your Austin money.
Exactly. But yeah, I just think it would be really cool to have kind of a newer edit with maybe when Sam came on the show too, and like spliced in a few different things like. It's cool that Nick Bryant's on that one though. That made me excited too. But yeah, I don't know, man. Beyond that, what do we got? We got Melania's meme coin. We have Fauci getting pardoned. what the inauguration is basically all day today, right? Just a
Yeah, I
huge
swapped
event.
out. I don't know if you noticed, but I swapped out the thumbnail on you.
Oh yeah, I saw it last
Yeah,
second.
which we need
Yeah.
to have a talk. We need to have like an intervention about your thumbnails. I don't know what happened. I sent you a
Hey man,
prompt, an
I
AI
thought we
prompt,
were
and they immediately became Pepe's. I was like, I never gave you. There was nothing about Pepe in the prompt.
I know,
I have
right?
no problem with it. It's fine. I mean, it's almost
Mhm.
become a way for people to
A
differentiate if it's
soul
like
animal.
if it's an Austin episode or not, which is
Yeah,
it's
that's
fine.
really it. I was kind of
Yeah,
distinguishing between when we were on, but at the
yeah.
same time, then I kind of accidentally fell into the idea of like we're doing the morning dump together. So then it's like this awkward
Yeah.
bathroom
I've had that
scene.
idea too because I've had one
Mhm.
time the AI spouted out two separate people, and I was like, I should do that in episodes with me and Austin. I should have
Exactly.
make sure it's like two, so I send that message. But I
Mhm.
swapped it out today. I don't know if you noticed, I swapped it out for
Yeah, that's
Trump
cool, man. Yeah,
because
I
like I was
noticed.
sitting here waiting, and I was like, as I was thinking about it, I was like, it's just two Pepes, and I was like, that's great for like a day nothing's going on. But
Mhm.
like we got Trump today. I was like we got to put Trump. So I swapped out I made a quick fix, quick new thumbnail. So now we have a Trump one. So I figure you might get a kick out of that one. You can reuse the one you made for another day.
Yeah,
But
I posted it
yeah,
anyway because I thought it would be. It's still us on the. It's still our. Honestly, I just love the idea of
Pepe's.
philosophically. So that's the entire reason. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was hilarious too at the same time. So fuck it. But I'll have to start thinking a little bit more about when I'm doing the thumbnail, like what I should put in there that's more breaking news type of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I have
and
no problem with Pepe's. I was just like, it's just very much like Pepe. I was like, I was like, did you accidentally like make the prompt the first time and then forget that like you swapped a word to Pepe and you just kept it that way the entire time? I just wanted to make sure you were clear that you didn't have to use Pepe every single time.
oh, shit, man. That's
Yeah,
so
but we
funny.
have a lot going on. We do have we got inauguration going on. We got pardons. That's the newest thing. I mean, is there anything
Mhm.
else I guess we should cover
Oh,
before we
dude.
get into actual content? Now that I'm thinking about it,
Yeah,
I don't think.
absolutely.
Oh, a little bit of promo, I guess. I do think that we will probably be going on Nephilim Death Squad shortly after this stream. So don't when this is over, it's not over. I think we'll be going on over to Nephilim Death Squad likely. I think they're doing a stream at 11:45. It seems very thrown together last minute. I'm kind of getting details this morning as we're streaming. So, but just throwing it out there, that's we'll be doing that an inauguration stream, I guess. I don't know the format, what's going on, but you can check us out over there. But I mean, with that, yeah, I mean, I think that's all we got to hawk.
Nice.
But yeah, if you guys want to give us money, if you want to make sure you can see your chat, you can go to Rumble Rants for either of us or Super Chat on YouTube for Austin. But yeah, I guess probably go ahead and straight up get it. I have a tab here. We'll start out with that, I guess. This is kind of the most timely thing. Biden pardons Dr. Anthony Fauci, General Mark Milley, and the J6 committee in extraordinary use of presidential power. It's from Disclosed TV. So this is 2 hours ago. Well, actually 3 hours ago. 7:23. So 3 hours ago, this happened. 3 hours ago and some change. That's wild. So yep, Biden pardoned Fauci, Milley, and the J6 committee, which is, I already know how this is going to be rhetorically framed because the right is immediately going to go, well, why do you need obviously they're going to be like, well, why do you need a fucking pardon? What are you trying to say, you're committed a crime? And then they're going to go, well, you guys are weaponizing the system, and so I'm having to protect these people even though they did nothing wrong, blah, 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 blah. That's going to be how it's going to be framed. So it's kind of like a preemptive, like, I'm not admitting they're committing a crime. I just know you guys plan on going after them in some sort of like a Banana Republic type stuff. So I'm preventing them from that strife. That's the only way. That's how I'm going to see this. I project this going forward. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what I think. I think that really, if I wasn't expecting much to be done, honestly, when it came to like, I was hoping a potential investigation and prosecution into Fauci would be on the table, but I very much am not under any false impressions or thinking that government accountability is within arm's reach. I mean, it's just something that I am never kind of convinced of. So when I see this, I just see, of course, yeah, Biden is doing what Trump cannot before Trump takes office, because that way it will inevitably this will be spun as, of course, the two-party delusion paradigm, as far as, well, before Trump could have anything done to Fauci and the J6 committee, and right, they're going to be pardoned by Biden because the Biden crime family, which, hey, man, I know that Biden is compromised, as is all the other public officials in the United States and DC. So I'm not too surprised that this happened. It's something I expected to happen. I was just kind of looking forward to just a hopeful, I was honestly just hoping that it would be on the table as a possibility for Trump to do something in regard to a potential investigation into Fauci, right? But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that was ever by design. So it was never intended to happen that way. And reason being is because clearly, in my mind, Fauci was the tool, right, for the manufactured pandemic. And if you know his history, you read. That's the one thing I think RFK Jr. has done that I will stand the test of time, is his book on Anthony Fauci, which clearly, it's a phenomenal work, honestly, with a lot of different sources, and it's all cited in the footnotes. It's very worthwhile, and it pretty much brings the entire HIV scandal into the spotlight, and makes you really question and wonder how legitimate, right, the AIDS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what the particulars of this pardon are. Honestly,
No,
'cause,
100%.
I mean, I'm not that I'm gonna go dig into it, but I am kind, because I mean that was the key thing with Hunter, is his was like what, fucking something retarded, like
Yeah.
10 years in the past or some shit. Which someone said surprised Biden didn't preemptively pardon himself. He kind of, in a sort of in a roundabout way, did with Hunter, by doing the by the nature of that, doing the retroactively, like way back when type thing. I forget how many years. It was something retarded, but by doing that, he effectively was pardoning himself by extension, because now he prevents him from being able to be, pursued in any sort of criminal manner, which prevent them from going after him. Because I mean, you kind of need him to cooperate in order to get the big guy, So that's done. Morning, boys, from Eddie Graham. What's up, guys? Fucking Doctori says blanket pardons are unconstitutional. Not like that ever matters. Yeah, I mean, I wonder what that means by blanket like pardon them for the future. I mean, it's weird because we're getting this thing where now they're like pardoning people for crimes that haven't even happened. Is this a thing? Like, I don't remember this being a thing in the past. Do you? When did this start becoming a thing? Because like I just now, even when he said that, I was just thinking about like a blanket pardon, and I had to think about it. I'm like, wait, we're fucking pardoning future crime. Well, I guess not future crime, because it would be, I guess technically they're pardoning for any crimes committed during certain periods, but it's like, I mean, what? I don't know. That's just bizarre to do that. I don't know.
When there's
Like,
any real political capital involved, as far as like Rand being interested and truly pursuing some sort of action against Fauci, if it were to be possible, legislatively or legality wise, like that was my just, maybe they can't have full control of each individual within the framework of Congress itself. So you have these few dissident members like a Thomas Massey, who they attempt to kind of give the Ron Paul treatment and keep him out of those powerful positions and prominent positions in committees in Congress, right? Because of how much he could potentially change. I think that maybe if there was actually any sort of true interest in pursuing that, and they just wanted to like, because it is interesting how often this is beginning to take place, and maybe it ratcheted up since the lock her up time, as far as just the what up, Fire Pixie. But then again, it's like, I don't know, you can probably point to many different past administrations and prior administrations who have gone down this road of pardoning individuals who have clearly been involved in but
Yeah,
again, this is
Doctor is saying, yeah, they're unconstitutional. The preemptive without a conviction or without charges.
yeah,
Now
no
that would
charges.
be because I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, I guess I could kind of understand if you're worried about political whatever, but you would think at the very least you would have to have charges. You can't just do future
Yeah.
theoretical just whatever during said period of time because like you don't know. I mean, I guess you could cover some sort of range of crimes or something, but it's like
Yeah.
you don't know what this person was doing that period of time. I guess like unless you're containing it to certain types of crimes, you're sort of giving them carte blanche to like have essentially done what the fuck ever. Could have been
Yeah.
a fucking goddamn crazy war sex criminal or whatever during some period of time. And just, whatever that was during the fucking months of December to fucking January of fucking 2017 to 28. You know what I mean? Like it's like,
Right.
oh, whatever. Now you're good. Like, like I don't know. That's bizarre to me. I don't know. You'd think you would need at least like specific charges and stuff, but no, just vagaries abound. Just no, whatever they. I don't. It seems to be such a rampant tool for misuse, especially now that they're ramping
Right.
it up and going nuts with it.
Dude,
I
look
mean,
at so
especially
this.
when you keep in you consider the sort of crimes that me and you think that some of these elites are responsible for,
Right.
like the deception that could be done here and the silly things they could the ways they could shift things around to I don't know, like kind of. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't admit like, hey, we did X awful thing, but it's like, oh, we're gonna fucking. Oh, just conveniently cover these period of times. I mean, like with
This is
Hunter,
so
we
funny,
thought
though, yeah.
he was doing awful stuff. There's people thought there was awful things in the laptops, and you're like, nope, we're just. So it's the same idea. You just got to like make it seem like it's some sort of other crime going on, and just go, oh, you're covered for anything during this period, even though they
Right.
were probably may have been doing fucking awful shit. You know, I don't know, just wild. So
That's CBS News is saying, yeah, just a basic rundown clearly but the framework is, of course, Biden preemptively pardons Trump foes, including Fauci, Milley, and Jan 6 committee. So again, it's instantly putting it in that framework of Trump's enemies are being pardoned on the way out, obviously, which is accurate, but in certain ways, even though Trump hired Fauci and never fired him, and right, and it was legitimately Operation Warp Speed, but it's whatever. I guess we're supposed to forget all about that part. But anyway, it's still interesting because he goes on to say in this CBS piece that these public servants have served our nation with honor and distinction and do not deserve to be the targets of unjustified and politically motivated prosecutions. That's what Biden said. The president noted that the pardons should not be mistaken as an acknowledgement that any individual engaged in any wrongdoing, nor should acceptance be misconstrued as an admission of guilt for any offense. He added that the nation instead owes these public servants a debt of gratitude for their tireless commitment to our country. Outlined the service of Fauci, who worked for decades as the nation's top infectious disease expert. So yeah, it just basically it's a statement suggesting everything you would imagine, as far as just complete undermining any sort of, potential crimes, right? Yeah, confession through projection, exactly.
real quick, I just recalled what I was reaching for earlier when I was like I swear there's something else we need to tell the audience. I just wanted to let you guys know tomorrow we're not doing one of these. So I'm working, and Austin is got some other family stuff going on. So tomorrow and then Wednesday is up in the air. Then after that, I'll be back Thursday. So I don't know. We'll see. No, not Thursday. What is tomorrow? No, tomorrow's Tuesday. Actually, no, I won't be back there. I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure that out. Tomorrow is not happening. Tomorrow's not happening for sure. Wednesday's up in the air. I'll be back Thursday. So yes, Thursday at the very least. I should be back by Thursday. So we'll see. But yes, definitely not tomorrow. But we're trying to keep these 5 to 7 days for you guys because there's so much news coming out. But we got fucking lives and jobs and fucking responsibilities. So if you'd like us to keep it at 5 to 7, give us money. I don't know what to say. And all the answers to all the questions is give us money. So, but all right, back to fucking this war criminal.
So the Trump aide, by the way, I'm not trying to cut you off. It's just one more.
you're good. I cut you off.
So this Trump aide, Taylor Budowich, I don't know. posted on social media that Biden unilaterally shielded a group of political cronies from the scales of justice. This is yet another dangerous and unreversible erosion of American norms. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I
Robin
think
here is saying that the SCOTUS and the DOJ have, I guess, said on prior occasion that accepting a pardon is an admission of guilt. So I mean, I don't know if that's was enshrined legally, or if that was just they rhetorically were playing political games and positioning it that way. So I don't know the specifics here of that. But that is interesting. I mean, especially if it is legally, technically, and if they are legally, technically accepting guilt of something, that's kind of wild. Although
I
it's still
forgot Liz
meaningless.
Cheney was included
Yeah.
in the J6 shit. I
Yeah.
totally forgot that Liz Cheney was a part of that. So is Adam Kissinger or Kissinger or whatever the fuck.
Those fucking ghouls.
Yeah. But hey man, I'm hoping that we get news about Ross Ulbricht and something good happens. You know.
Well, I guess I said I was at Taz, but now that you mention it, there is something I think we need to cover before we forget. But I figured this was a good little video that we could probably watch. Maybe take a second to recharge. This is David Lynch recently died. I don't know to what extent you were. I mean, you seem like maybe you'd be someone who'd be into his work, Austin. I don't know if I've ever even watched any of his work. I know Twin Peaks, I think, is the one everyone talks about, and supposedly has a lot of people in our circles really like it. Apparently, there's a lot of cult and symbolism and stuff. But I mean, I've from everything I know, every clips I've always seen, he's always seemed like a funny, interesting guy, kind of a badass, really interesting fella. So I don't know a ton about him. I just, he did die. I mean, there's a video of him questioning the 9/11 attacks. I thought I'd be just kind of interested to hear him to play that, and I don't know, that'd be kind of a little send off to let you guys know that happened. We're a little bit late on that. I think probably should have done this on yesterday's one. I think I forget what day he died, but we're a little late on this. But I figured it might be good to play that, just kind of. But I don't know if you have any thought. Were you a big Lynch fan or not really?
I definitely appreciate his work for sure.
Yeah.
But again, I haven't gone down the Twin Peaks rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but positive
nothing but
things
great
about
things,
it,
yeah.
and from exactly what you were mentioning about like-minded individuals kind of really appreciating the perspective. But I've never taken that dive, so I'll have to actually go down that rabbit hole at some point, because I'm sure Twin Peaks is phenomenal. But
I haven't watched. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what of his work there is. I mean, the bits I've seen clips, I've always been kind of impressed by him, and always I need to get around to that at some point. Let's play the last minute of this, because it's 2 minutes long. But I think it's probably really the last 30 seconds that he said some really interesting stuff. But it's him kind of questioning the 9/11 narrative.
I think it's convincing.
And it went down. It was just a hole in the ground.
Fuck it. Let's watch the
Do
whole
you
thing.
think it's convincing what they tell in the film?
It's not so much what they say. It's the things that make you look at what you thought you saw in a different light. And those things for me that bother me is the hole in the Pentagon being too small for a plane. The lawn isn't mussed up, and the government's not showing the plane hitting when many cameras photographed it. At the World Trade Center, 3 buildings came down like demolition, and 2 of them were hit by a plane, but the 3rd one, they said, "Do you want us to pull it?" And they pulled it, and it looked just like the other 2. Those things bother me. In Pennsylvania, the plane that went down, it was just a hole in the ground. There wasn't any wreckage. There wasn't any skid marks. There wasn't any tear in the earth. And no one's ever really found out about that. So every place, there's questions coming from this documentary. And you don't...
I'm just stopping to say something because I just realized this might be copyrighted, and I probably should say something so we can say that there was some sort of mix or fair use or whatever. We're probably past that time, so we're probably fucked anyways. But hey, whatever. I gave it a try. Let's keep playing.
Have to believe everything in the documentary to still have questions come up. And you look back and you remember what you saw and what you were told, and now you have questions.
And the event itself did it change your life, or did it change
No.
your view of?
now it's just an event that has many questions and no answers.
Yep, just popping in again once more for that very same reason. All right, let's keep playing.
And the suggestion that the American government is behind it.
That's
What does it
too
mean?
big for people to think about. It's too big.
What do you mean? It's
It's just, it's like something no one wants to think about.
I just find it particularly interesting because you know what? It's not too big anymore.
No.
No, I think
Absolutely
I
not.
find that interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
Steffi
want-
M, new follower. Awesome. Nice to have you joining us. I don't know who you're following, if you're following me or Austin, but either way, glad to have you on board. If you're following me, go check out Austin's work over the Underclass podcast. If you're following Austin, then I guess please come follow my stuff over in No Way Jose. I don't know. I've got a lot of great OKC stuff if that's what you're into. Robin's dropping some information, I guess, about DOJ said is if you accept a pardon and get called to testify, you cannot refuse using the fifth because you already have immunity. So Hunter can still get daddy in trouble. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah, in 1915, Burdick versus United States, the Supreme Court stated that a pardon carries an imputation of guilt, acceptance, a confession of it. However, the statement was part of the court's dicta, and then I lose that. I don't know if it cuts off at that point. Yeah, so yeah, okay, that was ruled on before, but that was back in 1915. So I don't know. You know how they do case law. I'm sure they can find an opposing one that says otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to litigate this on this show. Yeah.
That is interesting, though. Especially, remember yesterday privately, I just mentioned, I thought it was interesting that because it felt like the TikTok ban, the temporary ban there was like very much recycled propaganda that kind of recently occurred even. And yeah, Trump sort of saved the day that time as well, right? Which I found very interesting in regard to TikTok. But also what I found, I think, most compelling behind it all was the fact that Oracle was so deeply involved with apparently providing the priority servers for TikTok domestically in the United States. That's like if fucking Palantir was doing that, right? There's no difference to me, especially with Larry Ellison and his connections to, I mean, you look at basically Oracle is the CIA project, obviously, right? Which there's no real distinction there. It has the same rise to prominence as did companies such as Palantir, but it's still, as far as I'm
connected to
concerned,
Palantir or no?
well, I mean, as far as Larry Ellison and Peter Thiel are like connected at the hip, absolutely. And I think that Larry Ellison is potentially even more prominent in power than even Peter Thiel. It's possible. I'm not entirely certain of that, but it does seem as if there is a potential for that to be the case, right?
Did you know? I gotta drop this just because it's something that's been on my head. I just blew my mind when I recently read. It was an old piece from I always want to say Whitney Cummings or Houston, but it's Whitney.
Whitney Webb.
Whitney Webb. Yeah, I read a piece from her, and it blew my mind. The same person that owns PayPal. So this is where the idea of like PayPal mafia and stuff like that comes from. Forget his name. Some weird kind of Haji sounding name, I think. But he owns. He's the one who owned PayPal, which then PayPal is what then where Palantir was born. Because it was used, it was originally like a some sort of algorithm to look for fraud or something like that. And then it branched off into looking for terrorists or whatever, basically becoming literally the apocalyptic device from Captain America: Civil War.
You're right.
Or no, Winter Soldier. Is it Winter Soldier? I think it's Winter Soldier. Either way, whatever. Still, it's like literally a doomsday. Like, we will track down the future baddies and we will kill them now. Like, holy shit. But anyways, 80% of that back in 2015, so this was actually like a decade ago, but this was a decade after its inception. It was still 80% of the employees at Palantir after it broke off and became a CIA subcontractor. It was 80% were still PayPal employees. So it was like literally 80% was essentially still under this guy. And then on top of this, this guy owns the Intercept as well. And then the Intercept, and this was at the time when Glenn Greenwald was working there. He talks about, apparently Glenn Greenwald talks about like essentially when he came over the Intercept, it was like a job he couldn't refuse. It was just that fucking lucrative. It was just that like I couldn't in good conscience as someone who wants to do good things as a journalist turn down this offer. 100%. And you know what? So there were other journalists whose thing was dealing with whistleblowers who also got hired by the Intercept. And then all of those whistleblowers later, then their shit got fucking blown up later. And you're like, and it's the same fucking owner of like all of this. And you're like,
dude, I was just, you remember what was it, Zephyra?
Yeah.
Who was that whistleblower, right? That teach out or was something? I can't even remember the damn name.
I don't remember. Yeah.
I remember when that was happening, and the Intercept. This was just after Edward Snowden and everything had taken place, and this was like one of the more recent after Edward Snowden as far as whistleblowers disclosing information, and they had, due to the Edward Snowden case, reached out specifically to Glenn Greenwald and the Intercept, right? And this was just after apparently Jeremy Scahill and Glenn Greenwald had co-founded the Intercept because they were essentially trying to create
co-founded, not co-owned. That's the key thing.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure. Sorry. And so who put up the money? Pierre Omidyar, and he basically is isn't he eBay, I believe, direct connection there. I think he owned eBay as well. And so there again, you have this like big tech component that's playing in, but still the fact that it was when he took over and as far as like the full reins as far as ownership in the Intercept, that is when all these whistleblowers were lured to the Intercept in a way and then exposed, right? And so that's when Glenn Greenwald effectively stepped down due to integrity concerns and not being able, because if you remember, they were already having internal conflicts, and then the authorities within the Intercept barred him from coming forward with that investigative article about Hunter Biden's laptop in that very timely moment, as far as whenever the election process was taking place with Biden and Trump, right? And so it was kind of like, a way to derail the October surprise in a way, was to kind of use the Intercept to as a vehicle to out these whistleblowers effectively, which is 100% what happened with a few of them after Edward Snowden's case. And then, of course, also there was no more honest integrity occurring with the journalistic coverage at the Intercept.
By the way, I need to correct myself real quick. I kept saying PayPal, and maybe I was somewhat correct because I think there is some sort of pay connection, but it's eBay. eBay co-founder Pierre Omidyar, but I swear it was tied into PayPal as well. So I think he owned PayPal somehow as well. Although I guess Elon owns it now, but I swear he owned it at some point. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to correct there because I might have been wrong, but I think he owned PayPal too. So, you know what? He did actually. Now that he owned PayPal and eBay, and that's part of, I guess, whenever Elon recently acquired, I believe, eBay, he also he acquired PayPal as well. Sorry, I'm just straightening that out. That's where the confusion was. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I just I think it's important just to understand that's essentially how they operate. Is if there is some type of potential enterprise of journalism with integrity and the approach of just honest accountability and doing your job.
The hard part is, though, it's like you look at like the Glenn Greenwald, and it's this trap that they created to where it's like I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew that they were like that this was going to be corrupted. I mean, maybe some part of you should realize maybe this is too good to be true.
Right.
But or just, I mean, he was kind of like a leading guy, so I mean, maybe you could just be like, hey, this guy just genuinely has whoever this Pierre Omidyar guy, maybe genuinely is just kind of some elite that actually genuinely wants good things and not bad things or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you could easily get talked by some rich eccentric and like get talked into that. So
Yeah, here
I
we go.
mean,
Mint Press News ran FBI whistleblower on Pierre Omidyar and his campaign to neuter WikiLeaks. These motherfuckers operate like operators. You know what I
gangsters.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, like, and
yeah.
then when they were trying to take down WikiLeaks, they were working in concert with other ones, and then literally at the time, I believe at one point they actually literally did like a corporate apology, kind of like, because all, I guess, stuff got leaked with these like three separate corporate entities like colluding to try to take them down. They apologized, but while they were apologizing, they were literally still engaging in the same exact type of activity where they were. So it's like, I don't know. These guys are like gangsters. They play these like corporate games. I mean, like, as we pointed out with even just with journalist stuff, like this is some crazy spook shit here, dude. Like this is like literally, I mean, I guess I don't know enough about the Pierre Omidyar guy, but if we follow this money, I don't know, where does this lead? Does this lead to Mossad? Like, I just, is bizarre
Yeah.
that, like, why
Hey,
would this
man.
guy really? Why would, I mean? Clearly, this guy is somehow busting up these
Look at this.
whistleblowers. So it's like he's created this
Right.
trap where you have great journalists who do great work, and then it's like, okay, cool, like, exists, but the catch here is that the obviously the government gets the first peek, or
Right.
whatever, or whatever agency is somehow infiltrating these groups and getting in, because this is the thing, these guys did get busted up. Like, there were multiple whistleblowers that literally got outed after working with Intercept. So it's like, how is
wow.
this happening? The common
Dude, it
theme
funds
here.
USAID. Just the fuck. That's crazy.
Wait,
So
what USAID, which is that's the,
that's the
which one is
CIA
that?
front It's
Yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah.
the venture capital arm. Essentially, NQTEL is really behind USAID.
So he funds it, which was
Yeah.
he gives it money, so he donates to it,
Very interesting.
which
But yeah, so
okay.
Pierre Omidyar, prior to the founding of the Intercept, was known not for any commitment to journalism or free speech, but rather for his connections to the U.S. government and his role in the
Yeah.
financial blockade of WikiLeaks that
And then
began
he
in
all of a sudden just
2010.
really wanted to be, a fucking philanthropist working on really hardcore cutting edge journalists doing the Lord's work, all of a sudden,
I wouldn't be surprised if he was hanging out at the Edge Foundation over there.
Yeah.
But indeed, publicly available records reveal Omidyar's close connections to the U.S. political establishment. For example, Omidyar made more visits to the Obama White House between 2009 and 2013 than did Google's Eric Schmidt, Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, or Amazon's Jeff Bezos. He has also donated $30 million to the Clinton Global Initiative. He directly co-invested with the State Department funding groups, some of them overtly fascist, that worked to overthrow Ukraine's democratically elected government in 2014. So he's messing around with Victoria Nuland and
Yeah.
Jeffrey Pyatt over there, staging the Ukrainian conflict that we're still, right? I mean, my
Yeah.
God, the meat grinder is
Which
still.
it actually weirdly looks like things are looking more up for
True.
Gaza than for Russia, for the Russia-Ukraine
That is so
conflict right now.
strange to me.
Right?
Yeah.
Complete inversion of what we thought before. Because I gave you the news
Mhm.
recently that the whole "we're going to fix this on day one" is now backed up to like, oh, hopefully we'll have a deal on the table in the first 100 days. So that's where it's
Right.
changed to now. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
think about, by the way, think about the name of Oracle, right? And then the name of Palantir as well. Like that blows my mind in itself, because you remember the all-seeing stone, it basically is Palantir, right? This like strange occult gateway into the Eye of Sauron or whatever from the Lord of the Rings, but basically it's named for that purpose, right? To be like this sort of all-knowing entity, right? It's just so that's
Yeah.
by design. That's not by accident at all.
according to
That-
Catching 45, Oracle and this apparently a frat called Sigma Chi, which is a huge frat, are apparently linked. I'd be interested in hearing more about that.
Whoa.
That's
that
I mean, that
is-
wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, that would be a fun little dive to do, is the linkage of intelligence agencies to fraternities. Because I bet you, 'cause, I mean, hell, there's shit. Was it Skull and Bones is college bullshit too. I mean, they're all
Oh yeah,
they're all
100%.
nutting on fucking Geronimo's fucking skull and
Right.
friggin' I
Dude.
forget what school they're in, but like they're
Yeah,
so they're
Yale.
they're doing that shit up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yale. So
yeah.
I mean, I'd be interested in. I mean, obviously the black the Boule society is like through the colleges as well. So I mean, that glowy shit, man, is probably pretty weird in some of the fraternities. I mean, I'd be interested. I mean, I'm sure it's a spectrum depending on where you go, but
Right.
like, I don't think you're gonna see him at too many fucking like private colleges and shit. But
I know.
I don't
man.
know. I mean, I don't know. I never really got into the frat stuff. Always seemed pretty gay to me.
Right. But it
Yeah.
is a way that they form these, kind of this dual loyalty in a way, right? Because you're like more loyal to your fraternal organization than you are, so it does create one, you have this interesting network now that you can clearly help promote each other, right? Even play that political game where you see Lindsey Graham and Kamala, bumping fists after they remove their masks, after the political theater is done. And then, they have a sister fraternity at uh at Yale, you right? And I forget something in Key. I can't remember the name of it, but it's very similar, right? It's the same thing. It's Skull and Bones, just for women, right? And so yeah, I just think that, especially knowing how deeply embedded Skull and Bones has been with these private organizations as well, that are clearly secret societies like the Pilgrims and various other orders, then you begin to understand that it's like, okay, so these are the children of right, the powerful elite oligarchs, right? And they clearly have just sent them to these indoctrination facilities to learn how to usher through the next stage of the agenda. It seems as if that is the case, especially when you consider. I forget. I'll have to pull back up that Skull and Bones piece that I
Yeah.
remember, because it was so interesting. The inner sanctum and everything involved with it was basically this an offshoot of this very old German death cult that
Yeah.
was 100% involved in really, I believe, sponsoring this entire false misconception of the American dream, and what inevitably became the rise of the very first institutions domestically in the U.S. And that was all off of the back of illegal criminal syndicates, as far as the opium trade and the opium wars and all these other, just, yeah, blood money, man. That's what, right. And so, yeah, I think Skull and Bone, it's by design that these powerful individuals are members of these elite fraternities, right? But I think one last thing before we just pivot, it's at least interesting that Omidyar, right, has these direct connections to the CIA and
Booz
the
Allen
NSA.
Hamilton.
Booz Allen Hamilton, yeah,
Yeah.
which is 100%, Edward Snowden, who I still, to this day, I don't know what to make of him anymore. It's like, it's a very interesting dynamic. I'm trying to
Yeah.
assess that story. It was so just very, when something feels like it's staged, right? Like it's out of a movie, like it's something
Yeah.
that, it's like
You
watching
makes you
Laura
wonder
Poitras.
to what degree is this theater? Because I mean, I have a question before Snowden, because it is kind of like, from a theater perspective, it's pretty easy if you're like, I don't know. I mean, he's pretty much like from the start, like once it's popped off, he was already gone. He was supposedly disappearing on the run. So you have a guy on the run, and then all of a sudden now he's somewhere that we can't get a hold of him, and that's just where he's at. So it's like he never had to go through really any sort of courts or this. I just feel like it'd be a very easy op to run. I don't know. There's not a lot of players involved. I mean, it's pretty well secluded and cloistered off in its little area. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not a tech guy, so maybe that side of things might be harder to kind of pull the wool over there. But I don't know. I'm not saying that is the case. I don't even know. I'm just saying people who have that idea, it's kind of like, I don't know. Could be. It seems pretty convenient. This guy's never been fucked with. But I don't know. That gets to another level of like, I don't know. I can't. You were just like I mean, question everything, but like, I don't
Right.
know. Definitely don't be like, don't knee jerk. Be like, nope, you're completely an op. You're like, but based on what? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying buy everything he says or assert that he's not. I mean, be skeptical, but I don't know, because yeah,
Right.
it's just kind of like it's a possibility, but it is that is one that will fuck with your head, because you're like, I don't know, man.
100%.
That's some next level spook shit if you're pulling that. But I don't know.
Right.
They do some next level spook shit. So
Absolutely.
is
It
this
was
one of them?
Reality
I don't
Winner.
know.
Right. Reality Winner was, I think, the one that I was trying to think of earlier, that whistleblower. But anyway, yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter. The
Yeah.
point being here is just that clearly Piero Midyar is much more like a Peter Thiel, I believe, than most people are under the impression. It's kind of interesting how they hide in plain sight in many ways, right? And but yet they resurface so very often in these areas of interest that it's almost undeniable. There's a clear and overt hidden hand of the intelligence community kind of backing these individuals' rise to power. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe it was Scroll and Key, by the way. I can't quite remember now. I'll have to find it again, but we'll talk more about Skull and Bones at some
Yeah,
point.
so you have some stuff. I believe I'm judging
Yeah.
just by the title, since you're the one who covered
Right.
this one. A little bit of seeing behind the wool here for you guys. You have a couple things for Firefighter stuff. So I mean, before we can do,
This is-
I did
yeah.
receive an email from one of the listeners a while back, and I just hadn't had really a chance, and I kind of wanted to wait till I had you, because I felt like this is something that me and you could talk about. So this is from Maurice. It says, I know you've been covering it at length, but an aspect I'm hearing no one talk about is the smart meters attached to the houses and all the destruction attached to them. You should look into this. And then he goes
Yeah, I
into
was
like giving
worried in the
suggestions.
beginning.
Huh?
I was worried about that. That's why I refused a smart meter out here whenever it
Yeah.
came around.
I don't even know what a
because
smart meter is, so I don't know.
I'm telling
Sounds
you,
like some
it's
gay shit in California. But
yeah, it is what I believe it is clearly it's been kind of staging the infrastructure for the pivot, which I think is what's taking place to the 15-minute smart city infrastructure, which is clearly on the agenda, the list of agenda
real quick, I
items
just
to
to
be
finish
smart.
what he's also saying
Oh, my
people, I
bad.
guess, are supposedly getting their social medias taken down for talking about it, and then he says love the show. This is from Maurice, so thanks, Maurice. Yeah, I don't know. I
Appreciate you,
figured
bro.
I saved that for you to bring up to Austin, because I have no idea about the smart meters, and it worked out since apparently he knows about these smart meters. So because I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry,
Right.
didn't mean to
No,
cut you off. I just wanted to get that
You're
out
good.
before I forgot about the message.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
you that is a thing you've heard tell of this already.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and this happened a couple years ago, right? When they were really pushing for everyone to embrace the smart meter, because efficiency, but other, they of course were not accounting for these smart meters have been implemented in the UK and in various other areas of the world, and there has been nothing but inevitably negative consequences due to and fallout as well due to let's say they say that, due to climate change, you can only keep your temperature in your home at a certain level. If you go above that level, right, we can shut off your electricity. We can shut off, your basic right privileges. They could shut them down, and that is effectively like in the same vein as getting an EV or some Tesla, right? And you see what happened with Leibelsberger as just an example. Not saying that it's probably unwise to rent an electric vehicle that traces and tracks every single thing that you do, and then also can report and archive
Yes.
every conversation that you have in the vehicle. It's
That was one
Yeah.
key point a lot of people brought up immediately off the bat. Like, if this guy's on the lam from fucking other glowies out there in the world, glowy battle, and he's fucking out on the fucking hoofing it, getting away from the other glowies, why would you go in a fucking glowy mobile?
exactly exactly, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to me, and so I do believe that the smart meters are very much a part of the totalitarian technocratic vision for the future, and that is the main reason, other than there were a few other negative impacts that it would have had on you as an individual homeowner. It's just like it honestly is self-defeating policy, right? But of course it's framed in that vision of progress, right? Where, oh, but for the better of society, as our collectivist nature takes hold, we must push forward this self-defeating policy positions and legislative action in order to, of course, erode our individual sovereignty and remove more of our liberties, and that's clearly the goal, and that is what I believe the smart meter is really about, in the entire agenda there. But it makes a lot of sense that when I heard that there was some sort of like direct connection with as far as with the fires out here being involved with the smart meters as well. I'll have to read more into that, because I'm sure there's something to it. But anyway, by the way, at some point I should bring forward. I don't have it right now, but I was looking into this Operation Blue Roof, and this is something only because I had seen so many conspiracies about, right, all the blue items, the blue that were untouched by these alleged directed energy weapons, right? And I looked through it, and dude, there's a FEMA program from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers called Operation Blue Roof, and it's allegedly, right, these kind of like, through the FEMA management system, this is kind of what they do in these areas of tragedy, I guess, is they kind of like, anyway, I'll have to bring it up at some point and bring it to the table, because it is interesting. It made me think twice about it, because I hadn't really put much into that before as far as the theory was concerned, but it's very interesting and worthwhile acknowledging the fact that it does almost seem like things that are this specific color could potentially be untouched in these areas that are entirely devastated and look like a scorched earth, and in the Pacific Palisades, specifically, and then also in Maui. But anyway, I'll have to get into that in a deeper level at some point. But what I really wanted to talk about was this. First of all, I'll stage it with Sean Ryan, because this is the funniest thing of all time, and it made me.
I love me some Sean Ryan fucking super cuts just to make fun of him.
But especially when you consider,
totally not glowy, guys. Totally not glowy.
Right.
He got out, guys. He got out of the CIA. He's here. He's fighting for the home team now. He's against He's against the deep state. He's gonna stop the deep state with the power of the Lord on his side. We're gonna stop him.
So this is long, so we're not going to play the whole thing, but
and the forces of Al Qaeda as well. But go ahead,
dude. This
because
right
the deep
here,
state doesn't want you to know about Al Qaeda. The deep state doesn't want you to fucking know, dude.
Right.
This is what the deep state doesn't want you to know, and thank God we have warriors like Sean Ryan revealing this sort of stuff.
I'm telling you, man. Let's hear what he says at the beginning.
It's like 11 minutes.
Terrorism. I mean, you said yourself. Go ahead. What Al Qaeda said.
There were plans recovered from Al Qaeda that had a proposed plan. It's the cheapest way to wreak absolute havoc on our nation.
You get some Mexicans. Yes.
Could it be terrorism? I mean, you said yourself. Go ahead. What Al Qaeda said.
No, it absolutely could be. And, we recovered plans, not we, but the royal we, the, Special Operations Intelligence Community, law enforcement. I'm not sure who was the appropriating, agency, but there were plans recovered from Al Qaeda that had a proposed plan to attack America with wildfire.
Oh, shut the fuck.
With what? What was the last?
With wildfire.
With wildfire. Oh, okay. All right.
Come on, man.
Well played, Chloe.
Like, I saw this, and I just had to instantly stop.
Homeless Hajis.
You know what they called it? They called it wildfire jihad.
Wait, who called it that?
That's what it's been called. I've
Well, I think you were saying
legitimately
like they unironically, like they titled the
now
episode
I
or
haven't
something.
watched the whole thing, so I'll have to go through.
Because
But
if they're like they're labeling it as their like cool edgy
Mhm.
CIA term, like
It would
we're
be so funny, but you know that it has been labeled that in the past, and that's what I found so crazy. I found this, and I instantly went to look through it. And so, first of all, what I found was I'll introduce you to what this other
oh, they
proponent
found examples
was.
to support this claim, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it's
And so now
crazy.
me and you are gonna make fun of these stupid fucks.
Exactly. That was the whole point here. So what I found, because there's also this very interesting aspect of you just type in Al Qaeda's wildfires, you'll start pulling up
Mhm.
articles from 2003, 2007,
Sounds like a
2009,
romantic novel
2012.
Sarah Ryan would write.
It really does. It seems so much
Al
like
Qaeda
recycled
wildfires.
propaganda. Yeah. And they called it Unleash Hell.
Yeah.
Apparently this was within the context of an Al Qaeda based magazine, right? Which describes in detail how to start huge forest fires across the US with instructions on how to make ember bombs.
Oh wait, this is an Al Qaeda magazine?
Yeah, so they
Okay.
say fire bombs, right?
So they have Al Qaeda magazines now.
But this goes back to check this out.
I'm
There's
still
a
stuck on Al
few-
Qaeda magazine. So you're saying the source here is an Al Qaeda magazine? That
There's
sounds like glowy
multiple.
bullshit from the start already.
Absolutely. This is just from 2012, right?
Like they have some fucking, fucking intern that writes these fucking newsletters.
Really does. So a magazine published by members of Al Qaeda has called for Western Muslims to wage war within the U.S., urging them to engage in lone wolf attacks, including setting forest fires. And it goes in a recent issue of Inspire magazine has surfaced on jihadi forums with one article titled, "It is of your freedom to ignite a firebomb," which gives detailed
That
instructions
sounds
on
like
how,
glowy bullshit.
doesn't it? It's crazy. So
I mean, I'm not saying that they're making entire fucking glowy magazine or Haji magazines and making these whole like side fucking narratives on, but would you be surprised? And does it
Hell
not at
no.
all look like that's exactly the
It
case?
looks exactly like what they did. It's so crazy.
It is of your freedom to ignite a firebomb. You're just getting lazy.
It does.
with
It seems like when the CIA was trying to write as Islamic terrorists for 9/11, and they're like, how would they speak? And it's so clearly obvious that it's not at all coming from, I forget, there's even more distinctions, like they were writing in certain, anyway, I can't remember what that example stems from, but it's so funny because this is perfectly within the scope of the playbook they've utilized in the past. And so,
Real quick, that guy Sky High, I've been crafting my head way to connect the two because I'm like, this is legit just Soldier Fortune, but for Al Qaeda. For those who aren't aware, particularly, especially with my niche that I like to cover, like the Oklahoma City bombing, that's a big component. Is all this like glowy gun show, Soldier of Fortune, circuit shit. Like it's all just glowy fucking games. It's like all of it. Like so, that's basically what Soldier of Fortune is. It's just a big old fucking glowy rag. So it's like. This kind of is what this sounds like to me, yeah. So
no doubt. So this, of course, which gives detailed.
Sorry, Dr. 420 said book written by the CIA about using wildfires as weapons. I bet you I actually have that book because I bought a few of those manuals a while back that have been released from the different CIA manuals. But yeah, they study it for Vietnam apparently, so that checks out. Wow. That they would use that.
Well, this will kill you because the transition from these older examples, there's another one as well that I believe was from, I think it was from this FBI document that went public in 2003, which is what they were referencing in regard to these. I'm talking the San Francisco Chronicle, Washington Examiner, They're dropping, not only is it this wildfire jihad and experts, counterterrorism experts warning that terrorists may be setting wildfires across America. It also is claiming that the Al Qaeda was responsible for spreading wildfires in the UK and attempted to give examples of that. which is just hilarious to me. And then wildfire jihad. That's what one of them is suggesting. Al Qaeda urges terrorists to start wildfires. It is so crazy how many examples, though, when you look it up. And so anyway, there's hold on, where was I? There it is. Yeah, so I'll finish this last part, and then I'll tell you about a little bit more about this this pivot to kind of the modern example, because there's an article written called "Pro Al Qaeda Clerics Supporters of Iran Axis React to Los Angeles Wildfires. Trump threatens to turn Gaza into an inferno, but LA fires are a divine welcome gift to him. As you condemn, you will be condemned." And it's all about this jihadist call for using, basically they're taking credit for the LA fires, which is just fascinating to me. And it's jihadis. The perspective behind it here is that it was jihadis from this Iran axis. So check this out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's got to be the Iran axis. Can't be any other axis. It's got to be the Iran axis. So, yeah.
So this claims that jihadis in Iran and Iran Axis supporters are proclaiming that the wildfires that have been ravaging the Los Angeles area, displacing thousands of people and wreaking widespread destruction, including in built-up areas, are punishment and revenge from Allah. Drawing from religious texts, the wildfires were celebrated by people including Salafi jihadis and media outlets affiliated with Iran as one of Allah's soldiers sent to the U.S. for its arrogance, its support of Israel, and its war on Islam and Muslims. Yemen's Houthis share cartoons mocking U.S. Like, look at this, dude. It's so crazy that this just came out, too. But Trump and hell in California, apparently, from this Telegram channel of Yemen's Ansar Allah, the Houthi movement, the Houthi. But anyway, Iran-backed outlet, Trump threatened Gaza with hell. 2 days later, America turned into an inferno.
Oh, scroll up. You see this? Scroll up. I just wanted to look at that. That's interesting.
Very
the
interesting.
Fire. So that's what they're like pointing to. Like, oh, look, fire.
Right.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, it's a reach. I mean, they're using
much.
fire imagery, which there's going to be tons of that in wartime, and then then sort of equating that to sort of, they're evoking imagery of fire and hoping that just is enough for your monkey brain to go fire.
100%.
Fire.
Dude, it really is what they're doing, but
yeah,
it's something that, I think is worth acknowledging, especially considering how they operate typically with this recycled propaganda. And I'm trying to find where it was referenced, because I thought that was very important, that it was like legitimately from the original terror wars. Yeah, they pointed to a 2003 FBI memo which raised the possibility that Al Qaeda may try to set wildfires around the western United States.
Okay, so this is a 22-year-old fucking reference. Got it. Yeah, cool.
That's what I'm
cool,
saying.
Man. One time they thought about using fire. I bet you the fires in fucking Cali have something to do with them. I give it. Man.
Yeah.
Man, these Sean Ryan types are getting out of hand. I gotta say, maybe I'm just not looking. Maybe they're just popping up in my algorithm now. But I get those. I swear, damn near every day, I get some fucking glowy fucking bullshit. Like, look how fucking cool we are. Guess what? Al Qaeda's coming in. Be scared. Be really scared.
Oh yeah.
Get some guns and be scared.
Again, why I was considering it like the year of domestic Islamic terrorism combined with
I'm genuinely getting concerned that these warnings are maybe a preamble. It seems there is too much. It's been ramping up a lot. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I hope they're just dialing up tensions and don't actually have the chutzpah to pull anything off.
Right.
But
Dude,
I don't know.
This is such a weird story.
Yeah.
So 2 Oregon residents arrested for impersonating firefighters in the Palisades fire evacuation zone. And I look into it, and it's a little more than you would expect. 2 people from Oregon allegedly impersonating firefighters inside the fire zone over the weekend, according to LA County Sheriff's Department. On Saturday, LA Police Department officers were
Oh,
patrolling
shit.
the fire area. Yeah, with local
It's a whole ass
firefighters.
truck. A whole ass
Brother,
fake truck.
it's more than that. When they observed a fire truck that did not
I
appear to
thought
be
this you were saying a
legitimate.
fake firefighter. No, we're talking a whole ass fucking
Yeah,
whole ass fake fucking goddamn fake unit.
for real. They relayed the information to the sheriff's department, at which point investigators with their major crimes bureau were contacted to assist deputies who had pulled the pair over as they attempted to enter an evacuation zone. Upon contacting the two occupants of the truck, deputies noticed they were both wearing turnout gear. LASD statement said the occupants claimed to be from Roaring River Fire Department in Oregon. Underneath their turnout gear, both individuals were wearing Cal Fire t-shirts and had helmets and radios to further look the part, according to deputies. Now, here's the interesting part. Investigators determined that the department was not actually a legitimate agency and that the fire truck they were driving was purchased through an auction. Both individuals, identified as Dustin Nail, 31, and Jennifer Nail, 44, were arrested for impersonating a firefighter and for entering an evacuation zone. The truck was impounded. Deputies noted, this I found really interesting. The two also admitted to being inside of the evacuation zone on the day prior, on Friday. So they had already been there and were just, attempting to re-enter. Suspect Dustin Nail has a criminal history in Oregon for criminal mischief and arson, bro. And arson. I was just like, hell no. This is one of the craziest things ever. And would make sense, right? As far as if you were attempting to utilize individual operatives on the ground to help facilitate the maybe even not even only start the fires, but help facilitate the location and the
Yeah.
kind of, again, what I was thinking was,
I mean, throwing in a
how to
fake
guide
fucking
them.
throwing in a fake firefighter too. That's gonna make it seem like, oh, this area is covered or whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't know. Like someone's gonna see, like it's just gonna jam up the works. Although I
100%.
struggle to believe this is some sort of op because it
I
seems
know,
so
right?
fucking retarded.
It
Like,
does seem stupid.
that like I don't know, this would easily work out this way. All right, guys, we need to probably bring this to a wrap. We do have me and you. I believe it's starting in 7 minutes, I think. We're going to be going over to another stream after this, but I did want to real quick before we get out of here. This is probably, I mean, unless you have something else really pressing, but I think we probably got through most of the stuff. I just wanted to give a quick update on the ceasefire. This is updated last night at 7:04 p.m. I listened this morning, Dave DeCamp. It took effect Sunday morning, so yesterday. Apparently, they've already gotten the first 3 hostages out of the 33, which obviously schizo. They're expected to free in the first phase. So I mean, it's happened. So here we go. Apparently, Ben Gavir already did drop out because that was a big part of it. Those been following the specifics of it. Ben Gavir was, I forget what party he was a part of, but he was one of the individuals. I want to say he was the finance minister. I might be wrong though, but I believe he was threatening that he was going to quit or he was going to resign if they took the deal, and then that would threaten essentially the Likud parties. What's the word I'm looking for? Having the major control of the Knesset. And that now it was Gavir and another person that were both making threats of leaving. Gavir did, and so there goes his party with him. So now I think Dave was saying now they went from having 68 votes, I believe, out of something like 120 in the Knesset, giving them a majority. But now with Ben Gavir's entity or party or whatever gone, now we're looking, I think, 62. And so we're really, politically speaking, the other individual, which I can't remember his name, some other fucking Jewy name, if he drops out, that will really be, politically speaking, a big loss for them because that will cause his votes to go as well, and that will put them at less than a majority, making it so that they aren't able just to dominate. Even just now having a slight majority, I'm surprised they didn't buckle with that because that is, that's putting you on, all you need is a slight bit of dissension within your ranks, and now you lose if you have some sort of political push you're trying to make, now it could fall through. So losing that majority, big deal. And now this other entity, I guess, is still saying that if they don't, now they're saying the line is if they don't resume hostilities after phase 1, this other individual will resign. So we do have political pressure pushing against this, but hopefully, I think it's something like 42 days in the first phase. So hopefully this lasts, and this just does make it harder. Hopefully this really allows to settle in the actual devastation there. I think we'll probably start getting a lot more images and stuff coming out now. So hopefully that plays a part, but we are still very touch and go, still very up in the air, and there's still a lot of political pressure pushing the other way. And like I said, there's a good chance they'll lose their political majority if they don't continue this. So, I mean, it would be kind of astounding if the world comes together and is really able to highlight how awful this is, and then still they pick back up.
Yeah.
That would be an impressive level of fucking like, holy shit, really? You have the whole world, in this, but I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. Any thoughts, Austin? I guess, and other than that, I guess we can go ahead and get out of here unless you have any other specific thing you want to cover. But I mean, I'm just glad we're seeing a ceasefire. I'm glad we're going to see aid trucks coming in. See somebody said trying to compete with Top and David this morning. No, we're about to hop in with Top and David. I don't know if they've already started, if that's why you said it, but I believe I was told 11:45 when it started. I already have the link, so me and Austin will be hopping over there basically as soon as we're done talking to you guys. So, Austin, any thoughts? I don't think we're in any sort of rush to get over there. We pop in when we do. So, but
yeah, I'm really just hoping for the best, that we can get some sort of positive result from this for a change, because it's been such a tragic just watching this ever since October 7th. I mean, it's been so terrible to witness, as long as we have witnessed, sort of the not only the active war, but it was already effectively the largest open air prison concentration camp, in the world. So it's just, it's been a really tragic sequence of events, and I'm hoping for some sort of positive, result here. So that's really my only concern, because unfortunately, I always expect the worst when it comes to these international conflicts, and that's probably for, as far as just my own psychological well-being, so I don't get too hopeful. But yeah, so that's really it. I just hope that, again, something positive happens here.
And happy Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, is it MLK Day?
Yeah.
Man,
Sorry.
that's crazy. We're going to have to do at some point, I'm going to finally have to do a MLK assassination episode, because
100%.
Yeah,
I want to do that and an X one for a long time. All right, dude, let's get out of here. Let them know where they can find you. I got to pee really fucking bad before we go do this next show. But
all right, you guys follow me at the Underclass Podcast. Best places to support me: Buzzsprout and Patreon, and that's basically it, guys. I appreciate you all. Nothing but love.
Hell yeah. Patreon.com/NoWayJose2020 is where you can go to support me. The lowest level is $2. That gives you the early access to these episodes. For example, you would have a Jeremy Slate episode ready for you right now. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be recording a Vegas episode that you would get a week early. Also, you can be a talking head on Already Dead, which is me and Austin's nighttime, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays. Call-in show, so pop in there. That's kind of where we recap the week, and this is where we recap the day, and then I guess some of the old stuff too, that whatever we're spurging on. Also, you can get an ad-free RSS feed at that low level. That's where you get all my stuff ad-free. Like, this will be going up after this. I will post this up there, and you'll be able to listen to this on the audio version without the ads. Also, the highest levels of my sponsors, I read them off every episode, and my co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad, at AbrogateDees, at ZOVERACK, at _InfuZeal. Also have Tim Tuttle. You can follow him at Jolly on Klebold. Then Will Bell is a delicious blueberry rabbit eye wine. Then a big fan of the show, Torin May. Then at INWARD Lover, at Inward Lover. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Go drop us a 5-star review on your whatever podcast you're listening to. Do that for both of ours, the No Way Jose podcast and the Underclass podcast. Help a brother out. Takes no time at all, and it really helps boost us up in the algos. Especially if you're watching some of those video players, look down below. There should be a like button. Hit that like button. Follow me on Twitter at Tower Gang Jose. And with that, we are out of here. Deuces. Bye-bye.